Welcome to the Basketball Blueprint, everyone. I have two special guests with us today, Rico. My good friend, Vonn Webb, is back on the podcast with us. And our sports AD, Todd Brown, is with us. What's up, fellas?
Hey, happy to be here, Donald.
Good morning, D.
Man, we had a wonderful time Wednesday night. The school flew Vonn in and his wife, Michelle. And Vonn was able to talk to our student athletes about the deadly drug fentanyl that took his son's life, and was able to talk to our student athletes about it and just how deadly a drug it is. And then last night at the halftime show, the school honored Vonn with his son's degree and his picture frame of his uniform. So he received a jersey, he received his son's degree. And I think it was a good time, and just for me personally, just to be with my friend. I love him to death, and even though the circumstances are what the circumstances are, I got a chance to spend some time with him and his wife, Michelle. So, Vonn, I want to ask you, the first question is, how was everything for you? Talk about Wednesday night, talk about last night, and just how everything went and came together. Give me your thoughts.
Oh man, it was absolutely phenomenal. Over the top, from the moment we landed, until this moment right now.
Get you closer to the mic.
Everything. Can you hear me now? Am I better? Yeah, everything was phenomenal. Like I said, from the moment we landed until this moment as we sit here and speak and do the podcast, it's absolutely has been wonderful. Everyone's been great, man. Seems like they went out of their way to make this thing happen, and I thank Todd for being there and making this thing go, you for making it go, the athletic director. It's just been great, man. It's been absolutely great.
And man, I can't take much credit. I mean, from the podcast when we did it the first time, Todd was like, Vonn Webb? I was like, yeah, we 25 plus years. That's like my dude. And so Todd did everything. I mean, everything that happened, Todd Brown and his crew did all of that. Rico, I told him we might have to keep him and his wife here because we won our rival game last night, so I don't want him to leave.
Well, it felt good to be sitting there almost like they're on the sideline. I thought I was coaching last night. I was jumping up and down. And I was like, okay, I need to calm down here and just get this win. It was great. It was a good win, by the way.
Thank you. We needed it.
Yeah.
Coach Williams don't get no credit for that.
Hey, let me tell you something, Rico. I saw him out there working the officials down the stretch, and I think whatever he had to say, it helped.
He over there trying to scare him, man. His big self.
He was. He even went across half court to get him.
I love it.
It was good stuff.
Better me than Coach Jeter.
Yeah. Coach Jeter, we got to keep him in the light looking good, baby, Good stuff, man. Hey, shout out Todd, too, man. Just all the work you guys put together, putting all this together, man. So shout out your team, Todd, you and your team, just organizing everything that's happening. And Vonn, as always, man, I'm grateful, man. Your story, your journey, just being an inspiration to so many more. So
and that's the plan, Rico. That's the plan, is try to spread this word to as many people as possible, because my mission is to save lives, but I never want any parent or any sibling to feel the way I feel on a consistent basis, right? This is just, we got to do what we can to try to help as many people as possible. So that's why I'm so blessed to have them having me come here and do this. It was a good response. I've talked to students all day yesterday at the end. They were just, it was great to hear their responses, and I know what we're doing is the right thing.
Love it. I love it.
Todd, talk about why you wanted to do this for Vonn and his son. And how everything came together for the special nights.
I'll try and make it as condensed as possible, but it's really about a 2.5-year process. When Taelin was here, phenomenal student athlete. He was loved, he was respected, and a special athlete. There's not very many people where you look at and you're like, that person has the ability to do things that others can. And I remember after he left, he returned an email, started with Coach Warren and myself, trying to figure out how to get a few fees taken care of so we could graduate. And we just weren't able to find a way we felt we could do it within the NCAA rules at the time. And that felt bad for me. But some time went on. Didn't hear much. And then I learned of Taelin's passing. And the first thought I had was, did he ever get his degree? And I remember pulling up his information, and it didn't show a degree posted. So I went back, checked with all of our academic people, and they said, yes, he graduated. And at that moment, I thought, we've got to get his dad back here. We've got to get his family here and award this degree. And that became kind of the mission. But things go on. It's hard to coordinate. Vonn was still coaching at Fresno State. It's hard to find those timings, and it kind of slipped by the wayside. And then this year, out of nowhere, a manager shows up wearing a Webb jersey.
Yeah. And
I thought, wait a minute. That's got to be the families. That's nothing anyone else should own. That's got to be the families. And no more, I think it was 2, maybe 3 days later, you do the podcast, and I see Vonn's name pop up on it. I'm like, no, this is too coincidental. Don, you know him, and that's when you said you do. And I shared the story with you that Taelin actually earned his degree, but it's never been awarded. And I felt this is something we need to do. And so the timing just all came together. Went to our athletic director and said, hey, here's the situation. And he green-lighted it and said, yes, let's get this done and let's move with it. So kind of a condensed version of a 2.5-year period process of how we finally got to here.
Nice.
Amazing. So Vonn, what after, all of this coming together, and obviously you've been on the podcast before and we had a great show. What will you remember most about Wednesday and Thursday night?
Well, the fact that they had enough respect, or how would you say, I don't even know what the word would be, but just enough love to actually put it together and make it happen. I said he loved it here. Taelin loved the school. He was here for 3 years, and I never heard him complain one time. And my wife says it. She says, people here are so nice. She goes, she told me yesterday, we're driving in the car. She goes, I could live here. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I could. I said, okay. But, the people have been great. Everyone's been great. It's just a feeling of love and appreciation for my son and who he was as a young man. And everyone that I talked to that knows him, that knew him, they had the same sentiments. And so that, to me, I'd say I'm forever a Thunderbird. I'll come back here and visit, and I'll come back here and watch games, and I'll support them. Whether awesome.
My
friends are here or not. But Don's my guy. We know that. But I'll Thunderbird. I'm a Thunderbird for life. Because Taelin was. So it felt so good, man. It was just a great feeling.
Amazing. And Todd, same question for you. What will you remember most about Wednesday and Thursday night?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question.
Yes.
There's a bigger process to this and more people that I need to even recognize, because
absolutely,
this wouldn't have happened if the president of our university, President Benson, didn't say, yep, we're doing it. And the provost and everyone down the line, no one ever paused and said, we can't do this. And I think Vonn's right that I went to Southern Utah University. For me, it's a very special place, personal connections, and that's what it came down to. And it was the right thing. I think I can't pinpoint it. I'm almost sad that it's over. I am, in a way, because it's going to be such a special thing. And whenever you experience loss, there are special times and special moments, and you want to hang on to those forever. Mm-hmm. And I think this was one of those where I'm almost more sad that it's over than glad that it happened, in a way. That might seem a strange way to say it, but I think for me the most rewarding thing is that I made a connection with Vonn, and we didn't know each other before this, but he's someone that I feel I have a connection with that I never would have had before. And that's what I love about the job. It's what I love about being in athletics and with the student athletes, is you just get to make connections with amazing people. and they become lifelong bonds. And this guy's respected. Taelin's respected.
I love it.
So,
100%.
I love it. I love it.
100%.
Vonn, tell me something funny you remember your son doing, one or two things that you can remember him doing that sometimes when you think about him, you be like, yep, that was him.
Man, there's a million of those times. And, Taelin was just a very fun-loving kid. If you knew him, he was always, he's a lot, we had the same kind of personality. We like comedy, we like jokes and those type of things. So he is a, my mind is at a loss right now, but there's so many things that he's done. And I'll tell you what, he was the team comedian when I coached him in high school his senior year. And after every win, he'd be the first one back in the locker room dancing. When I walk into the locker room, he's in there dancing, doing some kind of silly dance and get the team hyped up and get them going. But he was always good for that. He was always good for a joke, always good for a good laugh and making people feel good. And just a great kid. When he started laughing, when you heard him or watched him laugh, he would laugh, and he laughed so hard. When he would laugh, he'd laugh so hard he would lose his breath. And I was looking at a video the other day of him, and it was me and my daughter Taylor. We were sitting there, we were on the phone, and we were looking at the video, and we just started crying, laughing. And then the next thing you know, we started crying, because we missed him. But his laugh was so infectious. He had an infectious laugh that would make you laugh, and if you get him going, it was hard for him to stop. So it was always hilarious, man.
Todd, tell us something that you remember about him when he was here.
You probably don't want the memory I have, because it was our old athletic director went after the officials a bit for him. He had a heartbreak. We were in a tight game. I think it was an overtime game, and we had penalty after penalty, and he made a phenomenal defensive play. Ended the game. Should have ended the game. And here comes the yellow flag. And our athletic director later, I don't know exactly what she did, but she went back and she let those officials know that she was very disappointed in the call. But he still fought through it. And for me, it's that everyone he knew had a positive experience with him.
Gotcha. Vonn, I believe that your son would be real proud of these last two nights. How would you think he would feel about what happened these last two nights?
It's funny you say that. One of his good friends, Colton Gordon. Colton went to school here with him, and they went to school together at Roosevelt High School in Southern California, in Eastvale. And they were really good friends while they were here. And we were talking about it last night. We were going, man, how would he be right now? And Colton just starts laughing. He goes, Coach, he would be, what would he say? He would be, he used the word, it's one of these words these kids use today, I don't remember. But he said it was a very positive thing, because Taelin, this type of thing, he would have loved it, but he would have appreciated it. He's been very appreciative. Because he was a hardworking kid, and I remember when I came up here for his senior year, and he was awarded the defensive back of the year, and he was in tears, because he really didn't know that he was going to get it. He was like, he didn't. He thought, he felt, he hoped, but when he called his name, I just looked at him, and it's. Tears running down his face, and he was so emotionally. He was excited. He was pumped up about it, and he felt he had worked for it and worked hard. But he would have, like a champ last night. He would have appreciated everything, And I know he did. I know he's looking down, and I know he saw what happened, and I know he's very appreciative of everything that's gone on.
Nice. Todd, when you think about Wednesday night, Thursday night, talk a little bit about what you learned about the drug fentanyl from what Vonn talked about on Wednesday night?
For me, it's one of those scary things where you start to learn of the risk that your kids may be going through. Having kids, watching the struggles they have, and sometimes not understanding that, well, having the knowledge that when I was a kid I didn't make the most rational decisions either, that there are things will happen and you act irrationally because you don't know how to process feeling and emotion, and it makes me somewhat scared. Like we talked a little bit at lunch yesterday that sometimes you learn those things and it makes you almost want to just box everything in. You can see how people just shut down and don't want to get out because there can be great fear. But I've got to have better conversations with my kids. That's the one thing you talked about, is just having them. I remember the first time I talked with Vonn, because he talked about in the process of this, just not knowing some of this, maybe the struggles and the things his son was dealing with. And then when I first told him, hey, do you know your son actually graduated and just never got his degree because of a few $100s in fees? He's like, I had no clue. And it's the reality I feel a lot of times that everyone has struggles. Everyone's struggling with something. And we're so afraid of letting people see that struggle because of judgment or fear that we're going to be somehow looked at differently. And I've tried to put myself in that situation so many times and say, I've got to ensure that when I approach this situation, whether it's in my workplace, whether it's my home place, that first the person knows that I love and care about them, and that whatever we're going to talk about, it's not going to change that fact. And hopefully that opens up those doors and we have better conversations. But that's what I've learned, is I've got to do that more often. I've got to let my kids know. I've got to let others around me know that and go through that. Because as he said, the small amounts that can do it can kill. One wrong mistake can kill.
Powerful, man. Just the awareness of the conversation, I think, is so important. And that dialogue between parents and kids, coaches, athletes, I think it's just important just to be having a dialogue, because but the fact that we're talking about it, bringing awareness to it, this is what it's about, And Vonn, just to speak to your mission and your why, I'm pretty certain this is what is fueling you, making sure more people are aware of this, right? And now your son's legacy is living on, and you're carrying that, man. So I can't give you guys enough love for that. And Todd, just again, the fact of even the thoughtfulness of the degree, it's just amazing, man. So I'm so blessed to be a part of this. I'm gonna switch up the flow a little bit. I would love to get you guys, all of it, and Coach Williams, yours as well, your opinion. What y'all think about the halftime show Thursday night?
I'll let Vonn go first.
The presentation?
Yes.
Well, I thought it was great, man. So for me, it was so emotional. It kind of blurred me. I kind of blurred out a little bit when I was standing up there. I really did, because I was just like, "This is really happening here right now," And it was
right.
And it was just beautiful. The fans were absolutely locked in. And they were such. And I tell you, these people here are great. And I just had an incredible time. I blurred out, and I was just like, man, I was in a whole nother world, and I didn't know what I was thinking. I was just standing there looking. I caught myself. I was like, what are you doing? Pay attention. And I kind of didn't hear everything that she said, because I was kind of like out of it. But it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. The only issue I had, and it was funny, it was kind of funny, the announcer called him Taelin. And I was like, I wanted to go over and say, man, it's Taelin. I was like, that's all good. I understand, because his name has been butchered his whole life. So that was part of the deal. So it was kind of fitting. But it was great. It was beautiful. Who all was
So the provost was there,
right?
And she really spearheaded a lot of that, because I threw it out to him. I'm like, hey, we're going to do this. President had to be up, advocating for our university at the legislative sessions right now. But the provost was like, we're going to do this, and we're going to make it as formal as we can. And she said, everyone that's participating, we're in full regalia. We're going to come out. This needs to be treated the exact way any degree presentation needs to be treated.
She was great. I'm telling you, she was absolutely phenomenal. What's her name?
Shauna Mendini.
Shauna Mendini. I got to make sure. I'll get names from you before I leave, okay, from her, because they were absolutely incredible. I'm telling you. And Professor Coombs.
Yep.
He was another. Oh, that's another. I'm telling you, man, this is home. This is real. Great. All
right, Vonn, they're going to want you to move there now.
And my wife said it's okay.
That's because we've had such a bad winter. She's like, this is summer here.
Yeah.
For me on Thursday, I think I touched a little bit on that already. Just the care that everyone that looked at this had for the moment.
Yes.
They knew what it was. They knew what it was about. And nobody looked at it as though it wasn't going to be as special as it should be. That this wasn't just we're doing this for a feel-good moment. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do. And because it's the right thing to do, we are going to do it with every ounce of respect we do any other graduation ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see it. That's why I asked, was it taped? Because we got caught up in the halftime trying to make adjustments and stuff. But to me, again, like just a big shout out to Todd, President Biston, our athletic director, Doug, that they green lighted it for this to happen. And it's something that needed to happen. And I can just tell you, man, Wednesday night I had the twins with me. And, you know, probably tonight going to sit down with them and just try to see what they got out of it. Because it's conversations that, you know, I have my twins. I still have two of my older sons and one of my older daughters. And that's something else me and Vonn share. Wish we didn't share this, but we share the loss of a child, as I lost one of my daughters and my granddaughters. And so we've been able to help each other some through all of that too.
Yes.
But man, I look at the fentanyl drug and it's crazy because as you're growing up and you just go through the years, it was cocaine and then it was something else. And then marijuana, weed becomes I don't know, it's just everybody. And then you get something like fentanyl that just, you know, they're saying if you touch it, it can harm you.
Well, yeah, it can get absorbed into your body, and everybody's body's different, right? I mean, it can absorb into your body, and it can kill you. Yes, and this drug is a deadly drug. That's the whole thing about it. You talk about marijuana, you talk about all these other different drugs that's out there, right? And this stuff is 50 times stronger than 100 times stronger than morphine, 50 times stronger than heroin. And so, you know, it will kill you. And that's why I keep telling people all the time, that's how serious it is, because it's not you get high and you get addicted, you die, you know? And just 2 millimeters of it, 2 milligrams of it will kill you. And that's the whole thing. That's what people don't understand. It's a deadly drug that, if nothing else, you need to know what it is and know what it's about. And everyone makes their own decisions, as we know. But the key to the decision making is having a understanding, having a awareness, you know, and having information that you know what it is and what it's about. And if you make that decision, but the part of it that really hurts me is when people don't know, when they don't know, right? And you get a pill that's been pressed to look like something else. You smoke a joint when it's been laced with this stuff that you didn't know was in there. You know, and you're doing any other type of drug that it's been added to make it more potent, to make it more powerful, right? But you don't know. Yeah. And your best friend could have it and don't know, because they don't know where they're getting it from. They don't know where it's out there. And it's going to be out there, and that's a sad part. That's a sad testament to our society, that it's here, but it's going to be here. So we got to make better conscious decisions.
Is there any way for someone to detect, like if they didn't know, is there any way for them to detect, to find out if it's in something?
Yes, they have test strips. Okay. You know, they have test strips, and you can have, and that's what I was talking about before. You know, I have a company that I work with that have these oak boxes that has Narcan in it and the test strips in it because it's prevention. It's about prevention, right? And if somebody's really going to want to do something, all right, well, here's the test. Test it first. Right. All you do is take this test. I mean, come in a little package like this right here. And you just take it out, boom, put it in there, put the water in there, test it. And it tells you right now if fentanyl's in it or not. And if it's not in it and you decide you want to do it, then that's your choice, right? But the test strips are they're accessible. You know, they're all these type of things are accessible. But the test strips are definitely beneficial. And sometimes people say, well, people don't want to do that. Well, that's their choice. But they're making that decision. But at least if they have the option to do it, maybe if they know about it, maybe at least they will do it and give themselves a chance to stay alive.
Yeah, I know. At lunch we were talking about. I didn't really know what fentanyl was until it happened with Vonn's son, and then he kind of explained it a little bit more to me. And then we were just talking about the guy who had it that used to be on The Wire, and they just actually arrested his drug dealer in New York, and it's like it don't matter what age you are, it don't matter your race. It'll take you out. Yeah,
and like I said in the presentation the other night, you know, there is no, what do you call it? What's my word? It'll hit anybody. There's no discrimination. It's not discriminatory. It's gonna. If you mess with it, it's gonna get you. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Don't matter what nationality you are, don't matter what gender you are, don't matter what the case may be, it's not discriminatory. It'll take anybody and everybody out. And that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. I get calls weekly now. I get calls weekly from people around the country, places I've been speaking, calling me and they're like, Coach, you know, they appreciate everything, but they keep me updated on these younger kids that it's happening to, that you don't hear in the news. You know, they try to keep it on the wraps, you know, and that's what it just... That's what blows me away, you know, and that's why I say hopefully the awareness and putting out as much awareness as possible, that it'll get to the ears of kids, that they hear it and they know about it, so that when it hits them in the face, they can make a conscious decision, a conscious, educated, informed decision about what they're going to do, if they're going to take a chance or if they're going to say no.
Yeah, it's scary when you told the story about the middle school in Bakersfield. That is hitting our middle schools. And the crazy thing, when you think about it, if it's hitting the middle schools, then it's just a matter of time before it hits the elementary schools.
Exactly, 100%.
And that, when you have young kids, it's scary. You know, it's very scary when it's starting to hit that young.
And some people have said, and I've spoken to elementary schools, and we had to get special permission, which I understood because, you know, they're kids. But I invite the parents to come and hear what I'm saying, so you can understand, so you can have these conversations with your child, so that they can hear it coming from you as well as coming from someone else. But I got to tell you the truth. I don't want. If it's me, if I had a child, like I have granddaughters and grandkids. Yeah. I want them to know as soon as they can possibly know. As soon as they can fathom what it is, I want them to know what it is. Because the sooner they know, the more it's entrenched in them. And now if they hear it more and they hear it more, and the more they hear it, they realize how serious it is. You know? And so I want them to know as early as possible.
The one other crazy thing for me, and you know, growing up, we got whooped.
Without question.
With a switch. With a switch.
or a race car track.
That's right.
And anything that was in reach.
Anything in reach. But the crazy thing for me is, one thing you said Wednesday night was, you know, kids are looking and using their parents' prescriptions, like they got medication for a back injury or a knee injury or just pain, period. Like in our day, I wouldn't even thought about messing with a medicine cabinet without my mom or dad being like, oh, it's okay. Go ahead and get that Vicks up there, or go ahead and get them ibuprofen. But I would have never thought to look at my parents' medication. And it's sad because some of it starts at home.
Yeah. Well, and as I said, most of the time, It truly does. You know, that's where kids get their first interaction with some type of drug. Not that they're doing it as they're trying to get high or whatever, but they experience it because it's there, and the accessibility is there. It makes it real difficult because if the accessibility is there, anything can happen. A friend can come over. Somebody, you just don't know what can happen. And if it's there, if it's accessible, anything can happen. So that's why I tell parents all the time, put those things away, lock them up. Kids should not have access to their medications. They just should not. But that's really where a lot of it starts. It really, truly does.
I got a few more things. I'm going to let Rico get back here in a few minutes, but I want to ask you, on another note, man, how did you enjoy the game last night?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, man. I was excited. I'm a basketball coach. You know, this is what I've done my entire career. And to sit there and being a year removed from being on the sideline and coaching, I was enjoying watching you guys last night. And the fact that, because we talk all the time, and we talk about your team, and so I kind of know who they are a little bit, and it was good to see them in person for the first time. See them, you know, it was really good to see them, and to see you had your guys back. You know, the guys that have been injured. Yeah, Dom and Tavy. And I really liked some of the things because those guys down the stretch came through for you.
They did,
right? You know, and so I'm going, well, he's absolutely right. These are his dudes, right? And every team has dudes, right? And when you got dudes, right? When you got dudes, you can get it done. You got a chance, right? Exactly. So it was a pleasure to watch him play last night. I did not realize how freaking athletic Hersey is. I didn't realize that. You know, I watched him play when he was with the team out of Minnesota, you know, when he was working with those guys. Yeah. I remember seeing him, but I didn't realize that, right? So, and then I didn't realize how athletic, what's number 33's
Brock
name?
Felder.
Oh, that's my guy. I didn't realize how athletic that
He's a cyber athlete. He's a cyber athlete, by the way.
Right, you know? And I'm just watching those dudes, and then the little point guard.
Lorenzo.
Yeah, I mean, I love the team. I really don't. So then watch them go, man, these guys could be a good team, you know? And like you stated, if the bigs come and play, you got guard play, but we know guard play wins games. That's end of the day, we know that's what it is. But the bigs take it over the top, right? They give you more confidence in, okay, what you can and can't do, right? But I enjoyed it. Great win. Good win. That's a rival, right? That's always when you beat your rival. That's what's up, man. That's what's happening. You know, got my wife all pumped up. She want to go watch another game now.
I love it.
Well, I'm just grateful we got the win.
Yeah.
Because that always, you have a special moment like you do at halftime, and you want to leave with that high that you felt.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, sometimes it lessens that feeling a little bit. So that win helped me go home and feel complete. You know, I was able to go home and rest a little bit without the thoughts of, man, what's going on? But you know, there were some crazy things that happened last night, and I don't know if everyone saw it. I've seen it before. It's never happened here. But to knock a 10-gallon cooler of water over on the floor during the game, and I've got to say, the best part about it was that our staff went right into action. Like, everyone knew there's a part, we got to get it done, and you just saw everyone go. Like, there was no hesitation. It's what I love about working here. People see things that need to be done, and they just get it done. And as hard as that was to get 10 gallons mopped up and wiped up, I felt we did a great job. And, you know, the staff, Jeff Tukuwafu, his staff, those guys need to be commended for just jumping into action without hesitation.
Hey, and it was without hesitation. And you were out there mopping, and it was everybody was like whoom. It was just like, and I was like, that's big time. I told my wife, I said, that's everybody. That's it. TB's out there. Let's get it going.
That's my old athletic training days. You know, you just got to get. No one else is going to do it. I got to do it. So
yeah,
I've been coaching for 25 plus years. I have never saw that. Never.
Well, it has happened. I believe it was actually back in the Summit League. Uh-huh. It was at the tournament that one of our players ran into the cooler, and it didn't necessarily get on the court, but it doused them completely. Wow. And so they had to do the same thing as JT did, go in and get a uniform change and come back out.
I said this. I said that the video of that with the the crew, everyone that came out there. That should have been one of the top 10. Sports Center's top 10 to see everybody get out there and get that thing done. That right there to me was the top 10 because they're out there going and moving towels, guys on their hands and knees and pushing and people, it was incredible, And there's a I don't know if she was a trainer or not. The red-haired girl, she was out there. She was going strong. She was and it was all done. She was out there dancing.
I think that's your manager, Don.
I was like, yeah, that was funny. That was so funny. I was cracking up. It was good stuff. No man get hurt. He didn't get hurt, did he?
No, he didn't get hurt.
Okay.
He got a little wet, but he didn't get hurt. Hey, it might have helped him. He made like 4 clutch free throws down the road.
He sure did.
Hit the winning layup, so it might have helped him.
Yeah. Hey, they tell me to thank Gatorade.
I'm glad it wasn't Gatorade. That would have been a whole other story.
That would have been a whole different deal. That was great.
Should have put Don on that tank and sink him.
I
in
think
that tank.
we are.
Y'all wouldn't be able to finish the game, all that water.
That's past my pay grade.
No, this is great, man. This is great.
Yeah. Well, I just know that for me, this whole weekend, not weekend, but the whole three days here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's been an incredible experience. And as I stated before, from you, Dom, from this the podcast from the very beginning to the jersey, seeing the guy in the jersey, and first phone call you had me said the TV was going to get in touch with me, and I didn't anticipate the halftime show to be as it was. I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be just a very simple deal. Just very boom boom, hit. Let's get it done. Boom. But it was, and it made me feel. The feeling is euphoric, right? And so, but I never thought it would be that, and I appreciate that, and never be forgotten, and I can never thank you guys enough for the love and the respect and the appreciation that you showed for my son, and for his family, I just really appreciate that with all my heart, and told myself I wasn't gonna cry today. I was gonna stay solid, but I truly appreciate it. I really truly do, and you guys have been great. It's been
amazing.
Great. It's been great, man. It really truly has.
Yes, sir.
And I've told you a little bit just in the text message that there's healing for lots of reasons with people, and I shared the message a little bit with our student athletes too. But it's true that when you experience loss, there's times when you need people to step up.
Absolutely.
And when you go through that process, you understand that there are times when you need to step up. And there's, timing's everything, and you're probably going to get me going a little emotional too, because I was talking with Hayden that I learned that at a young age as a freshman in high school, almost exactly 34 years ago. I lost my brother in a car accident.
Yeah.
And that's hard to deal with and understand and to feel those things. And you don't want anyone to ever have to experience that. But when they do,
100%.
You have to find a way to help ease the pain and to ease that burden and to let them know that they're alive still, that they've accomplished things and who they are. And even though that wasn't my main motivation and drive, it in somewhat was,
right.
Because that was the instant thought I had when I knew of his passing and remembered the degree was his parents have to get this. It has to be awarded. He earned it. They need it. And that was the first thought I had. And in some ways I'm sad that it took 2.5 years, but in so many other ways I'm so grateful that it did, because it became what it actually needed to become. And I thank you for when I first made that phone call and said, we want to do this, but only if you want to do it. And you said, let's do it. And from there, all the permission that everyone had, it took you saying you want to do it and you want to come back and have that done. So thank you for that, because it's going to become a special thing. And when I finish my career and people ask, what are some of the most enjoyable parts of your journey? This is definitely staying at the top.
100%. It's been a blessing. It really, truly has. And you've been a blessing to make this go. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, and thank you for coming. That's what's made it all so special.
I wish I could hug you guys. I'm hugging you through the camera. Big old hugs. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There's tender moments. There's definitely things, and I knew this was going to be hard for Vonn, and right when he walked in the sound check that first time, it was there and palpable, and when you saw that emotion, for me, it told me that we've made the right decision to do this.
100%.
Well, I was going to kind of ask you guys to give me your last words, but you already kind of gave them to me. I mean, I don't know.
They did.
I don't know if anything else needs to be said after that. But Vonn, tell everybody again how we can reach you on social media and about Stay Shaded, and also Todd, you do the same.
Yeah, Stay Shaded is, like I said, it's our nonprofit foundation that we started, and because of Taelin's passing, our mission was to try to educate as many people as we possibly can, and let them realize, especially the youth. And I like to utilize athletes in their form and their voice and their form, everything that they have, to be able to help spread the word. And that's what it is. It's about awareness. The more awareness we have, the more people understand, the more we can save, more lives we can save. And and I'll tell you, Stay Shaded is a term that Taelin and I use before we would get off the phone with each other. And it just meant Stay Shaded means stay cool, stay on point, do what you're supposed to do, handle your business. That's really what it was. And he say stay shaded, pops. I say stay shaded, son. That's what it was about. So we started this last year, and part of what we do is I travel the country speaking. And that's been a beautiful thing because I've been able to go a lot of places. And I'm hoping that doors open where I can go to many more just to be able to spread the word and get it out there. Along with Stay Shaded, we have a project that we call Athletes Against Fentanyl, AAF. And that's why it was great to talk to all the athletes, because their ability to reach out to people, or the people listen to athletes, they respect athletes, they have a voice, they have a platform that they can at least just help put awareness out there, and that's what I love for them to be able to do. And we are on social media. We have our Instagram, and it's StayShaded.org is our Instagram. We have a Twitter, which is X, which is org Stay Shaded. We have our website, which is StayShaded.org. So we have those, and we do have a what do you call it? A Facebook and what's the other one? YouTube that we're just starting. We're just getting it going. So it's very embryonic. We're in embryonic stages of that, and so the mission is to put as much information out there and to help as many people as we can to save as many lives as possible. That's really what we're trying to do, and any assistance we get, we'll accept anything, man, because we're really trying to grow. We're trying to make it happen and get out there and make people realize how real this is and how serious this is. And we're losing people every day. We're losing kids every day. Any questions, we're there. It's easy to get in touch with us. My personal information is there. I don't feel like I don't have any problem with talking to anybody about anything, at any given time. So we're wide open.
Tell people how they can reach you on social media.
For me, I don't even know what my personal stuff is anymore, because I do. I think it's Coach Webb. Coach Dub 1, that's what it is. Coach DUB 1, and I think that's my Instagram, and then Vonn Webb on LinkedIn, and I think it's just Vonn Webb on Facebook as well. I think that's what it is.
And then what about for the Stay Shaded?
All those,
LinkedIn. Okay.
StayShaded.org is the website.
Okay.
AthletesAgainstFentanyl.org is the website. StayShaded.org, without a dot, StayShaded.org is Instagram. Okay. And then org Stay Shaded is our X, which is formerly Twitter. Okay. So those are all places you can find us.
And Mr. Brown, how can people reach out to you on social media?
On social media, I'm not a huge social media person. I'm like the old school. I dabble in it. So, Facebook, obviously, and you can just find me underneath my name. and do have X, which is just my name again, Todd with, my middle initial P Brown. But you can always find me, and I think that stuff's linked to our suutbirds.com webpage under our staff directory. You can find most of my information there as well.
Well, me and Rico appreciate you guys being here.
Yes, sir.
This has been great for me personally. Like I said, I got a chance to spend a few days with one of my best friends in the world, and it was great. And then I just want to tell everybody, the basketball blueprint we'll be on in a couple of weeks. We got a couple of road games coming up after tomorrow, so please come out tomorrow night, 6:30. We got Utah Valley, kind of another rival game. You know, any school in Utah is a rival, but right. Utah Tech is the biggest one. But Utah Valley is still another rival game. So please come out and support us tomorrow.
And it's a blackout.
At 6:30.
Wear black.
Oh, blackout game.
Blackout.
So wear black. So
you don't need no help doing that.
I was waiting for him to say something.
Hey, you know I'm gonna throw a job.
I was waiting for you to say something.
And while you watching on ESPN Plus, you just wear all black.
He had to drop the ESPN Plus on there. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, be tuned in. Again, thank you, and I'm grateful that you guys were able to come on the podcast, and we out.
Love it. Peace.
Peace.